So guys, if we're going to use Zoom for tutoring, it's pretty straightforward. Just start off at zoom.us, which is the website, and the first step is to sign up. This just will allow us to keep track of our accounts, and whatever email you sign up with, it's really important that we get a copy of it so that we know how to meet with you. Once you've signed up, I'd also recommend that you then Google Zoom download, and we want you to get the app, which is in the download center, Zoom client for meetings. And if you download that, what will happen is that you will get a little app that looks like this. Now, this app makes it easier to function with. Okay, and so what will happen is the tutor will either schedule the meeting, pre-schedule it, or set it up just as we're about to go. And so you'll have some details, either a meeting password or a meeting ID or an email to get you into the meeting. So when you're in a meeting, couple of recommendations. You always join with your audio, and your tutor will do the inviting of the participants. But I'd really strongly recommend that if you're finding it's a bit glitchy, stop the video. What a great school photo. This just helps the program to run a bit more smoothly, particularly because what we want is sharing of the screen. So when you share a screen, the tutor will probably have the whiteboard shared initially, and they will share that so that they can write any notes during the lesson, or if you're doing maths and you've got to actually do some writing, actually being able to work that through together, like with actual writing, sorry, my writing's bad, is quite good. So then with the whiteboard, you guys can just keep cycling through different whiteboards, we're up to whiteboard 4, and then you can save them at the end. So usually we'd give you some written notes, but this one, it's all digital. So if you've got a whiteboard running, that's great. But the other thing that's really useful is that we can share the screen. So when you open up your share screen, if you are running a Mac, all of these are going to be locked to begin with. And what you'll need to do is to click on one and attempt to share it, and then it's going to ask you to change your system preferences, and that is going to be quite important, because otherwise we're not going to be able to see what's on your screen. When you are actually tutoring, you might have you share the screen first so your tutor can see the work. You might have emailed your work or put it onto a Google Doc so that you guys can look at it simultaneously together, and then swap it around. Maybe you need to see what the tutor's doing, so then they decide to share their screen instead. How you do it is going to be really variable based on what you need out of your session. You can, of course, still have your video on if you want, but you don't have to. Mainly the reason for turning video off is just to make the bandwidth a bit easier to work with. So if we do have it on, just be really mindful of what's in your background. Make sure that this is like a real life interaction, so try not to be tutoring with your video on in your pajamas if you can. Other than that, probably the big other thing is just to really make sure that you're organized, so that you've sent through the work. What I've done with my students is they've emailed me their Google Drive links or their emailed work, and then we've looked at it on the screen together, and I've made comments as I'm going along of things that I would recommend. It's a new space for all of us, but I think it's a really exciting opportunity and something that should work really well. If things get glitchy, have your phone ready for FaceTime just in case. But other than that, should be fun. Just let us know if